everybody. We have an incredible stream planned for today. Wow. What an incredible group of stories. I'm so excited to go over this with you. I've loaded up so many graphics. We're going to have such a great time. First off, though, I want to say I see that some of you are watching from Florida. Who's in Florida right now? I'm glad you're doing okay. I'm glad that we can keep you company and take your mind off of the craziness down there right now. I really hope you're safe. I hope that, you're listening to your local authorities. I think depending on where you are, you still have time to get to a shelter if you choose to. Hey, Alex. I believe that you can use the code Milton Relief, the number 1, afterwards to get a free Uber to take you to a shelter. Although in some areas it might be too late, but I believe in some places, I think like for instance, I've been following the Disney World theme park situation as one of the elements, and I know that they just set an 8 p.m. curfew time for Orange County, but that's on the other side of the state. Hey, James. So I just want everyone to be really, really careful. Is Dan also there? I missed Dan. Oh, Dan is. You're in Orlando, so I think Orlando is in pretty good shape. So yes, we're thinking of you. See you on the other side, and I hope that you're okay. And hopefully, you just get a really amazing story out of it. Okay? Jordan's, are you in Florida as well? We're definitely thinking of all of you. All right, so let's get to today's live stream. We have 3 incredible stories. Hey, Smooth J. Hey, Carlos. Of course, as always, please keep your comments and questions to the story at hand. I will answer your questions and comments about the specific story at the end of each story. If you use a super chat before then, I might not get to it because I might not be able to go back and see it. So just keep that in mind. And then, of course, as always, at the very end of the stream, you can ask me anything that you would like for the final 10 minutes. Artico, I'm so glad you got a membership. Congratulations. All right, so much great stuff to talk about. All right, story number 1. Hold on. So many images I get. Oh, Lisa. Lisa, you have a new photo. I love your haircut. More power to you, and that was very generous of you. Hey, Carlos, thank you. Hey, Emilio. I appreciate everyone's generosity. You can see how much it means to people when they get a free membership. So it's just wonderful because, it not only supports, as I said, the channel, but it supports it gets somebody else into the group. So love it. And also to everybody who's watching who's not a member, I see you and I love you. Don't worry about it. Do what you can. I'm glad you're here anyway. Hey, Aralysis. All right. So the more you interact with the channel, the more likely you are to get a gifted membership. That's how YouTube selects who gets the gifted memberships. All right, story number 1. Boop. Oh, look at Aaron Pierre. He did it. He signed on for it. Oh, I'm not wearing green, actually. I'm wearing black for Agatha this evening. Sorry. The rumor is the Salem 7 are going to be spotlighted this evening, and so this is my look with the other accoutrement. Hey, Israel. So Aaron Pierre, they did it. He was down to him, and I think Stephen James, right? He got the role. Peak casting. It's incredible casting. Hey, Jordan, you know how good this so let's get the arrow in here. Do you know how good this casting is? This is like miracle casting. It trended on the Twitters. Let me get my arrow back. Okay? Not only is Jon Stewart number 1, but the movie from Netflix that made Aaron Pierre quite popular at just the right time, Rebel Ridge, is trending number 3. That's incredible. Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing. That's just really strong. So that casting is just so peak. It's like as soon as you see it, you're like, I know that some people have an issue with colorism, and as you can see, we're going to discuss that. That's one of the talking points. But I have to say, I do think, with that in mind, I think for the most part, hey, Max, I want to be careful here. For the most part, I think he's perfect casting. Obviously they could do that kind of eye effect to anyone. But I think that certainly kind of adds to him looking very much like Jon Stewart. So it's really, he's such strong casting. I think that he's such strong casting that he has totally changed how I feel about James Gunn's DC universe. Now I'm suddenly like, maybe it's going to work. That's how good it is. That's how good the casting is. I feel like I'm not like 100% on board, but I'd say I'm like 90% on board. I'm sitting toward the back of the room, but I'm in the room. I'm like, this is pretty amazing. I'm so excited about it. It's just so tremendous. James Gunn nailed this. He could not have cast a better person. That's right, Mika. I'm letting him cook. I'm like, you know what? It smells pretty good from the kitchen there, James. Hey, Sonny. Perhaps I shall wait to sample your meal before I judge it. I'm very, very excited. So the next thing, though, I want to say is that it's such perfect casting that, and I didn't get to review Interview with the Vampire today. I'm sorry. I have 2 episodes left to go, but then we got bigger stories. But I'm going to do a mini review next week. I absolutely adore it. But I will say that when you see something like this, so recently they had to recast Sentry because, Stephen Yeun, there's a lot of drama about how and why that went down. But end of the day, didn't get the role. So instead they brought in Mr. Lewis Pullman, Bill Pullman's son. He's okay. He's all right. I thought he was okay until I watched Interview with the Vampire. And I was like, holy crap, there's Sentry. How is this man not Sentry? It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, so this is Sam Reed. Sam Reed plays Lestat. I'm going to talk about the rest of the cast. It's an incredible cast across the board in an Interview with the Vampire. Oh, I'm sneaking in a little mini review. But I will tell you that Sam Reed, that's right, Tenerife. It's all about timing. And also, Interview with the Vampire, because it's on AMC, just didn't get enough attention. Now that it's on Netflix, maybe it's going to get a little bit more attention. But Sam Reed, I would say, is the level of Homelander in terms of an acting performance, in terms of a really charismatic, super hot villain. I would say that Sam Reed is to gothic romantic horror what Anthony Starr is to superhero commentary. I would say their performances are on par. And his French accent is shockingly good, and he's not even French. I mean, really. I got Nick to start watching Interview with the Vampire, right? It's like the most amazing show. It's like almost up there with like Shogun and Game of Thrones. That's how good Interview with the Vampire is. I just can't believe how good it is. I have to finish it today because I can't get on with my life until I finish it. All right, it's that good. But the fact that, I got to tell you, Sarah Haley Finn, I believe that's the cast director for Marvel, she made a really big mistake here. She made a huge mistake in not casting Sam Reed as Sentry. That would have really blown up the character. I mean, it could still work, but it was a mistake. All right, but I think this casting is that good. Sometimes you have to be like, well, if I squint and I turn my head to the side, I can kind of see who we're talking about. But this kind of casting, you're like, it's Jon Stewart. It's just that perfect. It's just that absolutely perfect. All right, so the next thing is James Gunn's Justice League. Oh, I see you, James Gunn, right? He's putting together a Justice League. I suspect that he will convince. The reason I bet you that the Batman movie has not moved forward yet, the one that's supposed to be the brave and the bold with an older Batman and a Damian, is that I think everybody can see that it's just stupid that Matt Reeves' Batman is not part of the regular DC universe. There's been rumors that, sorry, I didn't silence my phone. There have been rumors that even Zazie now wants it. And I think that, and Matt Reeves is very good friends with James Gunn. They're getting along really, really well. So I suspect that James Gunn is going to wait until he sees how Superman performs. And if Superman is a big hit, then maybe he can say, see, you don't have to be worried, Matt Reeves. Bring over your Battinson. So that's what I suspect might happen. Because, you just really can't improve, I think, on what Matt Reeves is doing, in my opinion. I'm glad you guys like my ringtone. I stole it actually from a friend of mine. And whenever she's in town, I have to change it because then our phones sound exactly the same. And she's like, why did you take my ringtone? And I was like, it was too good not to. I'm sorry. Yes, it's the Back to the Future tone. Okay. So yes, I think, and by the way, I think it's very interesting that clearly James Gunn is modeling his his Justice League after the animated series, which I think for many people, more than the comics, is what they relate to. I think and I think that's a smart move. Poke, I think Isabella Merced is a miss as Hawkgirl. I like Isabella Merced, but I don't really feel she's Hawkgirl. I'm sorry. Because again, I'm going by animated series standards, and she's just not that Hawkgirl. Ana de Armas would have been a really good Hawkgirl, actually. Because I think she would have actually been a great choice for that. We'll see who they decide to go with. And also, they have to get Wonder Woman just right. James Gunn has a little bit harder time with, his... By the way, I will also like to point out that for the most part, James Gunn is missing the beefcake. We just had a huge talk yesterday about the importance of beefcake in franchise filmmaking and how that built the MCU. There's very little beefcake in DC. David Cornsweet, he's not that big, okay? Like, he's tall, but he didn't really, and he worked out, which I appreciate, but he's not big. Like, I'll just tell you that right now, Aaron Pierre is beefcake. You're right, Leo. Aaron Pierre looks like he could beat up both of these guys. So that's the only problem with putting them all on the same team. As soon as Jon Stewart walks in the room, you're going to be like, why isn't he in charge? He's clearly the most powerful of all of you. And so that's a little bit different. But yeah, I think Aaron Pierre just looks stronger and tougher than both of them. So we'll see what they decide to do. All right, so the next thing let's talk about it, colorism, because I know it's important to a lot of you. Now, obviously, I'm just a guest in this conversation, although, I think that the people who are not from the Black community, who are in charge of these projects, need to take this very seriously. But I do feel that Aaron Pierre is just so perfect. So I'm curious, as to whether or not that this will be a hurdle for the actor. It's been a big problem for the casting of Storm. Fans have been very upset both times the role has been cast because they went with such light-skinned actresses. But Halle Berry just, she won an Oscar, so sometimes she's good, but she wasn't particularly strong in this role. And Alexandra Shipp did a nice job, but she was always in the background. They never really did anything with her character, unfortunately. A lot of us wanted to see Jodie Turner-Smith as Storm because she has a darker skin tone as Storm for the MCU. I had been talking about that. I think she would have been wonderful, but then unfortunately she was in The Acolyte, and that brought a lot of hate her way. I hope that she works hard to maybe get past that, because as you can see from The Acolyte, where I think she did a very nice job, she would have been an incredible Storm. She has a really nice elegance and regal quality to her. And I feel really bad that the Acolyte role might have hurt her in that regard. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Janelle Monáe, I'm sure that a lot of Black actresses want to be Storm, especially now that she's joining the MCU. But I think we have to figure out what age range Kevin Feige is going with. Is he going with a teenage X-Men, an adult X-Men, and if so, how adult? It's tough. You have to find out. Anna Diop, that's right, Mr. Magic. Anna Diop played Starfire on Titans, and she was really good. In fact, she was excellent, and she would also be a pretty good Storm, I think, as well. She would be excellent. And both those actresses are of darker skin tone. Lupita Nyong'o, Dennis, is already in the MCU, remember. But I think that this is definitely important. I think it's a really important issue. But I do feel that Aaron Pierre is having a moment as an actor. I think he's an incredible choice for this. I think he looks right on, that's the official picture that they released, by the way. And I think isn't that even more interesting? This is the picture that was in the Max brief from the animated series, not the comics. That is the exact picture that HBO and Max themselves put out. And as you can see, they picked a picture of him where he even has the goatee. I think he's so perfect for the role that I would feel that this would be okay, but at the same time, I'm not the one who decides. It's whether or not the black audience decides to support this show. And I don't think that the show, I think it clearly, needs that audience to be the superstar hit that you would want it to be. I feel that this is such strong casting that it could be the level of the success of Black Panther as a character in the comic book space. So that Suber says, what makes him perfect? It looks like Jon Stewart, in my opinion. He looks like he leapt off the animated. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe if you don't watch the animated series, you don't get it. Like, if you only are familiar mostly with the comics, then I can totally understand. Maybe that's where you're coming from. But if so let's do a poll. Do you think that's a good question. Do you think Aaron Pierre is good casting for Jon Stewart? First choice is perfect. Second choice is looks good so far. Then not feeling it. Then hate it. Oh no, I can't put hate because that's a really dislike it. Okay. And by the way, anyone who's watching can vote in the poll. You don't have to be a member to vote in the poll. I know that you wish it was a movie, Jamie, but I suspect he'll jump to the movies. He'll jump to the movies, even though Kyle Chandler does not have a deal to go to movies, apparently. All right, so next segment, let's talk about how Gunn's Lanterns is coming together. And I have to tell you, of every single project that James Gunn himself is personally working on, so that doesn't include the Batman Part 2, this to me is the one that I'm the most excited about. I think that James Gunn, I don't know how I feel about James Gunn as a director-writer for DC, but this gives me tremendous confidence in him as a producer for DC. Like, this level of the project, the way he's put together Lanterns is so incredibly strong that, I wish that he didn't have such strong personal ownership over everything else that he was doing for DC. And maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll still work. Let's see first look at Supergirl. Let's see what Superman looks like. It's early days still. But the producing effort that he's done on Lanterns is, I think, unparalleled in any area. It's looking to me to be probably one of the strongest comic book adaptations we've ever gotten. All right, so Kyle Chandler, looking a little better now that he gets to go next to Aaron Pierre. He'll be playing an older Hal Jordan. I do wish that this really solidifies that it's Aaron Pierre's show, in my opinion, although maybe Kyle Chandler will surprise us. Kyle Chandler doesn't have the oomph that I would have liked to make this a little bit more of a better balancing act. But these are the two leads that you're looking at. Jamie, I'm not quite sure. They haven't released I don't think they have a release date for it just yet. Let me check. Hold on. They have not said when it's coming out yet. They haven't even started filming yet, but they're moving very quickly. They're moving really quickly on it. So Kyle Chandler. Then the writer-directors, again, I was very excited. Tom King is also a part of this from the comic books, and I told you I'm 100% sure that it was Tom King's idea to go with an older Hal Jordan. That's such a Tom King thing to do. Tom King, although I have to say, I think Tom King is such a mixed bag. I think that he's very one-note. I think he has incredible ideas, but I think sometimes he doesn't develop them well, and I think often his comic books are overwritten. But I still buy every single one of them. Whenever Tom King writes a comic book, I pick it up because I think he has interesting ideas. So Tom King is also part of this. But Damon Lindelof, I thought, did such an incredible job with Watchmen, which also, by the way, dealt a lot with black superheroes in a really, really impressive way. And then also, that's funny, tamed the three bears. And then also, that gentleman on the far right there is Chris Mundy, who was in charge of the final seasons of Ozark. So Watchmen meets Ozark for Lanterns, and the plot line, by the way, is that it's going to be there's some kind of murder in the American heartland, and these two Green Lanterns are called in to investigate it. And I'm like, give it to me now. Put it in my veins. It's so incredible. I can't believe it. And then to make it even better, they just signed on. There will be multiple directors for this show. But the first few episodes is this guy, I forgot his name. James Hawes, who directed several episodes of Slow Horses. I haven't started watching Slow Horses yet. I'm slow to pick it up. But I've heard, of course, from many of you that it's incredible. This is the Gary Oldman spy show that's on Apple TV. It just won over Shogun, I think, for directing recently. But I mean, this is the fact that James Gunn put this package together. It's like no notes. I mean, the only thing I don't think is a home run is Kyle Chandler. But I don't hate it. It's just not as good as everything else. And maybe I'll change my mind when I watch the show. But this is just so absolutely incredible. You have to give James Gunn his flowers for putting it together. I mean, he did it. And also I guess somewhere Peter Safran was there. He's like, yeah, sure thing, James. Good idea. But it's just, I just couldn't be more excited about it. And so I hope that the other things, and the fact that James Gunn didn't put his own stamp on this is also very encouraging. I mean, I think James Gunn is good. I don't love his style, and I certainly wouldn't want it. I don't think it's particularly DC. So I wouldn't want it for all DC projects. James Gunn has a lighter, more comedic tone, and that's not DC, which is why he was a good fit with Marvel. But, that didn't work out. All right. Zazzy's like, scandal, schmandal. Come on over here, my friend. All right, so next thing. The other thing I have a question about is what's going to go on here with Easter eggs. So the Penguin, of course, is pretty successful as a show, but it's very difficult to talk about it week to week. I think that it's not a show. I think it's a show that 100% should have been binged, but that's not the HBO model. I don't think it was designed to be for a weekly release, to be honest with you. And I think it doesn't, just like I think Matt Reeves kind of was low on the Easter eggs with the Batman, he's still too low on the Easter eggs. I really hope someone would go up to Matt Reeves and say, let me close the poll, and say, you got to put more Easter eggs in here, buddy. Okay? Like, I love everything you're doing, but sprinkle it with Easter eggs. All right, so do you think Aaron Pierre is good casting for Jon Stewart? 43% of you say looks good so far. 41% of you think he's perfect like I do, but that's 84% of you like it. That's amazing. That's a home run. 11% of you, though, are not feeling it, while 3% of you really dislike it. I feel bad for the 3% of you because I know that means because you're passionate about the character, and I hope that Aaron Pierre can win you over, and I hope that there are some other castings that are coming up that don't suffer from colorism, so you can feel better about the space, and that maybe that you don't have to feel as bad about this casting. Because I think this is going to be really great for Black superheroes. That's a good question. Who watched the show, Juan Carlos? Well, who will watch it? Now I'm wondering how many of you watched the animated series. All right. Well, okay, let me continue to cook, and then I'll get back to your questions. Okay. All right, so anyway, so I do feel that Penguin is not good for a weekly show, and it's not good for breakdown coverage. However, I am nervous. So I was like, do I think that I would cover Lanterns week to week? And I think that I will. I think that I will cover Lanterns week to week. So let's bring the writers back up here for a minute. Let me move them because I got pictures incoming, baby. Let me get Penguin out of here. I think that based on Watchmen, which was Easter Egg City, baby. And you know what was so great about Watchmen? It not only had a lot of comic book Easter eggs, but it had a lot of historical Easter eggs, which I really enjoyed. So Damon Lindelof, this dude right here, he understands the assignment. So what kind of references could there be in a Green Lantern show? And by the way, that's right, Mexican Nacho, if you haven't watched Watchmen, you should watch Watchmen. It's just such an incredible show. It was such a shame that more people didn't watch it. It was really, couldn't get better than that show in my opinion. And not a lot of people watched it though, which was, I think because Watchmen is an obscure comic, and then some other people were upset about some of the race bending, but it was so well done, and they really made it, it was organic, and there was a strong reasoning for it, and the performances were so strong. It was unfortunate. Anthony Stork says, Geek of Color here, Grace. Love the animated series and think Pierre is perfect. Yeah, I really do feel we cracked it. If you watch the animated series, you're like, oh my God, it's Jon Stewart come to life. But if you largely just read the comics, then I can understand where you might have some hesitation. Go watch the animated series, and then you'll be like, oh, now I see why everybody's geeking out. All right, so this will be the first time that the Green Lantern character really is introduced to mainstream audiences. You know, the Ryan Reynolds movie, you know, and it was basically laughed off the screen. Even Ryan Reynolds laughs at it. And so there's lots of, I think, really important stuff to get into the space, right? And that's why it's great to do a TV series, because there is so much to cover when it comes to Green Lantern mythology. I'm not even a big Green Lantern fan, and I'm so excited about it. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to have such a good time in 2027 or something. In 3 years, or 2, I think hopefully 2026. It's going to be amazing. All right, so for those of you who aren't aware, first off, there's these little dudes. These little dudes are called the Guardians of Oa. You know, the Oa was like a Britt Robertson series, but it's also the alien planet where the Green Lantern Corps is headquartered. So it's this beautiful space metropolis. Sometimes these guys, by the way, are evil. So sometimes you see their little dead bodies and stuff like that. It's hilarious. So these they're not the Watchers, are they? Aren't they the Guardians? I'm pretty sure they're the Guardians. The Watcher, that's Marvel though. All right, so anyway, yeah, these little blue dudes, okay? So that's something. Then another thing, of course, is the Green Lantern Corps itself. These are the human members, because I suspect that the alien members will be too expensive for this show. So let's, for the most part, let me point out the biggest ones. Where's my arrow? So the reason this guy's in the middle is that's Alan Scott. Okay, let me make it a little bigger. Hello. Okay, so this is Alan Scott. He's the original Green Lantern from the Justice Society of America. Jeff Johns loves this guy. He also has been retconned to be a member of the LGBTQ community, and has gained a whole new fan base because of that. I believe his most recent comic was pretty well received, which delved into that. All right, then you have Hal Jordan, who is actually the first mainstream Green Lantern, the most popular one with old school comic book fans like the Silver Age and stuff. That's who Kyle Chandler will be playing. This here, you can see Jon Stewart is right next to him. He's also become an extremely popular character for the Green Lantern Corps, largely because of the animated series. You can see these are the ones who are up front, because they're the biggest names. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Alan Scott shows up on this show as well. That's right, CJ. There's Guy Gardner, who Nathan Fillion is playing in the Superman movie. He's a jerk, but you're supposed to love to hate him. And this is Kyle Rayner, who is an artist. So everybody has different backgrounds. Hal Jordan is a fighter pilot, like Carol Danvers, basically. Jon Stewart is an architect, but also a military person. So he has that kind of background, the military and architecture. Kyle Rayner, though, is an artist, so he always comes up with things that are more cartoonish. You know, the style of the constructs that you make, because they're with your mind, reflect your personality. And then and also you can see Sinestro, who's usually part of the Yellow Lantern situation. Fear, he was once a Green Lantern. And then you can see recently they've made efforts to diversify the Green Lantern Corps, but none of these characters are as popular as the Pyramid. This is the most popular group, and we'll see who makes it to the show. All right, then I'm not done. That's why I'm telling you this is going to be so great for talking about. All right, then even more so, there are different types of lanterns. Oh, welcome to a whole new world, my friends. All right, so let me make it bigger so you can see it. There's a whole world of lanterns, okay? This was really highlighted in this miniseries Blackest Night, which was, even though I don't even like Green Lantern, that was the best miniseries I've ever read for comic books, or one of the best ones. It's phenomenal. All right, so here's the breakdown of who's who. Life and death are not included in this illustration, though. All right, so, but it's pretty good. So here's the Green Lantern Corps. They represent willpower. Then the Star Sapphire, I wonder what they're going to do about that costume. That's love. She often dates Green Lantern. Then Sinestro is fear. And for a long time, these were the only lanterns, these three. But then when Jeff Johns decided, one of the only things Jeff Johns did some good, and one was the Green Lantern mythology. So he rapidly expanded it to create different levels. So one is Rage, the Red Lantern, and if you're a Red Lantern, you throw up red. You're like, blah, 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 blah. It's pretty cool. So I think they'd want to do that for sure. Then this is, who is this? Mercy. Yeah, Jeff Johns was reaching on some of these. Okay, so Mercy, okay, how is that different than Hope? I don't know. All right, so Hope and Mercy, and then this is Greed. You know, like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, basically. Like, it's mine, it's mine. Okay, so the cool thing is that when we watch the show, they'll almost certainly have, hopefully, oh, this arrow is on my face. It's on my face. Hold on. Okay, so they'll almost certainly have, hopefully, teases for this. You know, where someone's wearing a certain color shirt, or there's a light, and you know, everybody will be like, what's that red light in the woods? And everybody who's a comic book fan will be like, oh my God, it's a red lantern. Watch out for the blood. So it's going to be awesome. That's right, Ted or Tot. There is a Red Lantern cat, which is pretty cool, and has the ring on the finger. And you can be different Lantern Corps, by the way, you know, depending on what emotion consumes you. So a lot of Lanterns have been on different groups. And you know, even in Blackest Night, the Justice League all became members of the different ones. So it was pretty cool. All right, so I think this is pretty great. I think it's like, at this point, I don't think they can mess it up, to be honest with you, especially when they have the behind-the-camera talent. So does anybody have any questions or comments about this? Richard says, worried too many lanterns will be jumping the shark. No. I checked the sound the other day and it was fine on these. Tyler says, James Gunn is showing a weird pattern now. He doesn't cast any African-American males for his... Oh, Tyler, I don't know. That's a tough... I mean... That's like, again, that's up to the black community as to what kind of casting they're looking for. Let's see here. Harsh Desai says, rumor is they are casting Star Sapphire for lanterns. That's the lady with the pink, very sexy outfit. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they were casting that character. Lucas says, which Lantern Corps would you be in? That's a good question. I guess I would go with Will. I like that the best of the group, and it's traditional. You know? I don't want no wimpy league. That's right. I said it. I don't want to be in no wimpy league. I want to do cool stuff. Thanks, Charles. I'm glad you guys think that I'd be in the love category. That is a lot of ladies over there. Phil says, chance of Pierre getting a cameo in Superman. Well, they already filmed it. I don't think they should. I think they should just focus. There's already too many characters in Superman. Zeke Therm says, counting the minutes till the inevitable Jensen Ackles is the new DC. How could he be Batman, though? That's Soldier Boy. How could he be Batman, though? Because Robert Pattinson's like the same. I mean, actually, Jensen Ackles is older, so he looks really great. But yeah. Nacho says, too many lanterns. No, it's great when there's a ton of lanterns. Oh, it's so good. Maybe I like the white life. That's a pretty cool look. You know, it's like all glowing white. It's like Hela at the end of that What If episode. Mr. Pop Culture says they think that Aaron Pierre is as good casting as Henry Cavill. Yeah, I think he's going to have such strong fans and fan support. I feel this is the strongest casting that they've done yet. Ethan says, can you explain life and death? Well, it's the absence of all color or all colors at once. So if you have to be dead to be a Black Lantern. And life really came out as like the antithesis to the Black Lantern because the Black Lantern was so powerful. It's been a long time since I read Blackest Night. It came out like a long time ago. Desmond Kingston says, I don't see what the issue is with bringing Pattinson into DCU as long as Reeves has complete control over solo movies. Agreed. I think there's no issue. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that he's not in it, and I hope that is corrected if Superman is a hit. That's right, Zeke. Every lantern has an oath reading, and they have to hold their ring into their lantern, and they repeat the words. Harlequin, Hal Jordan might be a White Lantern now. I told you I don't read Green Lantern, although I did buy the Green Lantern that came out this week because it had a nice cover. What can I say? Sometimes I can't use that word. I'll get in trouble. I'm a pushover for covers. That's the PG-13 version. Oh, Mr. Andrews says, do you think Warner Brothers announced it this week because of the Joker fiasco? Well, they were getting ready to cast it anyway, but it certainly helps. You know, you really feel like, the future does look bright. All right, let's see here. Zeke says, I hope either Anna Diop is either Starfire for the new DCU or Storm for the MCU. That would be nice if she got that opportunity. She did a great job. All right, I think we're good for the next story. Okay. Dream says, not sure Pattinson really lends to the animated series vibe. Yeah, but neither does Corn Sweat. Corn Sweat, look at him. Where is he? I gotta tell you, Corn Sweat is tiny. I know he worked out. I don't know where it went. Maybe that suit makes him look smaller than he is, but he just looks small. I gotta tell you, especially next to Aaron Pierre. Just next to Aaron Pierre's head. You think that David Cornsweat looks kind of tiny. But yeah, I think they look good. All right. He did look big in Twisters, K. Walton. He did. But not big. He didn't look beefcake big. He's just very tall. Okay. It is not a great suit, Mr. Magic. I hope it grows on us. Story number 2. Boop. Oh, this is a fascinating development. Fascinating. So a friend of mine this morning texted me and said, oh my God, those Wicked tickets were impossible to get. And I was like, what? So Glenn Powell is a pretty good Flash, Elia. Oh, that's good casting as well. But I think Glenn Powell might feel he's too big for that. All right, but we're talking about Wicked. All right, so, and I got to tell you, I think the Wicked party is coming. I think that Wicked, wait till you see this evidence. I think you might be on the Wicked train. You're going to get on that train to Oz just like Glinda does when you see how things are looking. All right, so I was like, what? The Wicked tickets are selling very well. Now, obviously, when Wicked moved back a week to November 22nd, it was to try and not only get out of the way of Moana, but also because they wanted to maybe try and create another Barbenheimer. And I wasn't sure that would work, but I got to tell you, I think that Wicked is bringing the Barbie energy finally. And maybe this was, maybe the timing's just perfect, about a month before release or so, or a month and a half. And so they're not peaking too early. But I'm starting to really feel like there's a big party. In fact, I had a discussion with my family today because we were like, we better get these tickets when I saw how well they were doing. And we don't want to use up all of our AMC A-list reservations. So I asked my family which one they wanted to prioritize, and they actually picked Wicked because they feel it's more of a holiday film. And also, based on what you're about to see, it looks like you can get tickets for Gladiator 2 at any time. And Wicked is the difficult one. I'm shocked that my family picked Wicked because they were more excited about Gladiator. But I think, I got to tell you, I don't think they're going to see it opening weekend, but they were like Thanksgiving, and they picked it over Moana. My family picked Wicked to be their Thanksgiving movie. Hey, Sean. So that's pretty exciting for Wicked. Because I think it's really starting to pick up steam. So Gladiator better start. They released a popcorn bucket, but Gladiator is not doing anywhere near what it needs to get up to the level of what it needs to be the Oppenheimer of this formula. Because right now it's going to get blown out of the water if they don't start making more of an effort. All right, so let's take a look. So the Barbie PR campaign, as you might recall, was legendary. Oh, it was amazing. Let's take a look at it for a second. They even had a meal at Burger King. They had all these images that everybody liked. They had clothes, they had toys, they had fashions. It was amazing. Everybody was it was just Barbie mania. And I have to tell you, the advertising campaign of It's a Party is extremely effective. And I think that, especially nowadays, you really have to make people feel like they want to go to the theater because there's a party happening there. And if you wait, you will miss it. And I feel that Wicked is starting to do that. So let's take a look. I have a slideshow ready for you. Let's take a look at Wicked's merch. So what really won me over this morning, as I tweeted out, was this incredible popcorn bucket and cup multiples from Regal. These are the best I've seen. I don't think AMC has released theirs yet. These are so good that I might try and get down to a Regal and buy them. And I'm not even a Wicked fan, but they're so beautiful. I was like, I think I need that. So I'm just really, really impressed. I don't know which one I would get. I'm thinking right now I would get the Glinda cup, the big cup there, the pink cup, and then the Elphaba tin for popcorn. I like the combo on the left the best. It's so nice. Okay, and apparently this popcorn bucket on the lower left is a lantern, so maybe it lights up. I don't know. It's pretty cool. All right, then next up, look what they're doing on Fandango. When you look at the seats to see if they're sold, I've never seen this before. This is a new level of hype. They have little hats with the pink and the green to show you the seats that have been sold. That's the coolest thing ever. Oh, it just made me so excited when I saw that. I was like, that's amazing. And if I were another studio executive, I'd be like, darn it, how did we not think of that? Now, this is for Lincoln Square on the Friday of release at 7 p.m. in the Dolby. It kind of sucks because they had to split the premium screens, just like Barbenheimer did. So Gladiator is getting most of the IMAXs, and Wicked is getting the Dolbys. They have a couple of IMAX screens. In some places, they're splitting the IMAXs we're going to discuss. But this is how Wicked looks already. And by the way, Lincoln Square sells at the fastest, probably any movie theater in the world. Certainly in the United States. It is the place to see movies, AMC Lincoln Square, and they have two amazing screens, the IMAX, which is the biggest IMAX in North America, and the Dolby, which is a really nice Dolby theater. All right, so then here's some merch. Thanks to Broadway World for putting this together here. So you can see they have board games, figurines, a karaoke set, my goodness. They've also got makeup, hair products, and accessories. I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll get some makeup. And then they have clothing. I'm like, oh, I should buy something for my interviews. I'm probably going to look at later today. Clothing, costumes, and shoes. What? So that's pretty amazing. Now, that's just the party that they have going. So Wicked's really setting up. Oh, I didn't move the arrow. Wicked's really doing a nice job with that. But let's talk about pre-sales, because this is where you really start to be like, holy crap. All right, so we're first going to look at Lincoln Square. This is for, I believe, the Friday showing. Now this, you can only see the hats on Fandango when you go to purchase tickets. If you're going to look and seeing how if you just want to look at tickets, it's still gray. All right, but that's why you don't see the hats here. All right, so this is Lincoln Square. AMC Lincoln Square, the Dolby, I think for the Friday night maybe? I'm not sure. I forgot to check. But here's Gladiator in the IMAX the same day at 7:30. This Gladiator, which has been on sale, by the way, for a couple of days already, this should be sold out. This 7:30 IMAX should be sold out. The fact that it's not sold out is very scary to me. This is Wicked after a few hours. The Dolby's almost totally gone. Gladiator, not full. And I told you, this is for AMC Lincoln Square, the most popular theater in, I think, North America. But let me get you something that's even scarier. Here's Kips Bay. Kips Bay is the IMAX. They're splitting the IMAX screen. 4 o'clock is Wicked, 7 o'clock is, or 7:30 is Gladiator. So Wicked, this is the 4 o'clock Saturday, day after release, November 22nd. Erica, we'll talk about Moana 2 in a moment. All right, so this is the seats, and this is not a particularly popular theater, but this is a very nice IMAX in New York City. So you can still get some Wicked tickets, or at least you could when I took this photo. And this is how many tickets have been sold for 4 p.m. in an afternoon on the Saturday at Kips Bay IMAX. I'm glad you like the visuals, Bubbles Emporium. I'm very happy. All right, then get ready to be shocked. Here's Gladiator for the showing right after. This isn't a Sunday night. This is Saturday night, November 23rd, day after opening at 7:30. That's how many tickets they've sold for Gladiator. That's incredible. They should be freaking out at Paramount that's the sales. This is a Saturday. Saturday night. That's just amazing. So that's right, Denzel. Gladiator, you in danger, girl. I think that Wicked, I think at this rate, it's not even going to be close unless there's a lot of walk-up business for Gladiator. But it's going to be just like, remember when you went to the theater for Barbenheimer and people were enjoying Oppenheimer, but like everybody in the lobby and in the concession area was going nuts and was dressed up for Barbie. And everybody was like, oh man, there's a party over there where Barbie is. That's what's going to happen with Wicked at this rate. And a Paramount really should look at this and be like, holy crap, we'd better fix this. Okay, let me do a poll to which you're seeing. Hold on. Which of these movies are you seeing in theaters? Wicked, Gladiator 2, both, and then neither. I don't like fun. You gotta see one of these movies. Are you a movie fan? Are you, gosh darn it? All right. But it's very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Did I have anything else to discuss? Oh yeah, let's talk about what you guys are voting. Let's talk about Moana. What the heck's gonna happen with Moana? So as you know, Moana, of course, comes out the Wednesday after. Not the Friday after, the Wednesday after. They don't even get a full week before Moana 2 hits. Now, clearly, Moana, I told you I heard Moana was actually pretty good. And Moana has like a big reveal, apparently some big development at the end of the movie. So that's pretty good. That could get people to theaters. However, will Moana be able to get any premium screens without people screaming bloody murder and being like, what the heck is this? All right, I think maybe they could split the IMAX 3 ways. You do the morning shows for Moana, the afternoon shows for Wicked, and the evening shows for Gladiator. But this is a Mission Impossible, Barbie and Oppenheimer cluster. Beep. That's how bad it is. And Disney's extremely aggressive. I mean, because I think, I think Disney's very aggressive, and I don't know if Disney will agree to not have any of the premium screens because they're just such an aggressive negotiator in this space. I think that Moana doesn't need a premium screen. I don't feel it needs a premium screen. I'd be like, are you kidding me with this? I mean, I think that it's hard enough for Wicked and Gladiator 2 to share these. So let's see what they decide to do. But, you know, that's another reason that you might want to see Wicked or Gladiator early because I don't know if they're going to hold on to the premium screens, within less than a week. I suspect they'll split it the 3-way to some way because it's just too ridiculous. I think the theaters will have to maybe push back and say, you know what? Maybe, this will be interesting. Maybe if Gladiator underperforms, Wicked and Moana will split the premium screens and Gladiator will just get shunted down to a regular screen. Oh, that would be so embarrassing. Oh, Gladiator looks good to me. I liked the trailer. I thought it looked incredible. My family's excited about it. That's right, John Thrasher. I think Gladiator might be the Mission Impossible in this scenario. Alex, I'm sorry that your theater isn't showing IMAX for Wicked. That sucks. But, I mean, do they have it on any premium screen? Let's see what happens. It's interesting. I wonder if a movie that's used for babysitting on Disney Plus is a draw in theaters. They might be like, I can't wait for this to be the next babysitting movie. I'll be curious to see what they decide to do. All right, now we'll do questions and answers on this one. Hold on. I see your question, Dawn. One moment. So Dawn said, I auditioned for our school's production of Wicked, but I forgot the words. Luckily, I had them written in my pocket. But then when I looked back up, two of the judges were laughing. And oh, I'm on to you, Dawn. Okay. It Will Be Okay says, I'm waiting on reviews of Gladiator. I was 5 when the OG movie came out. I rewatched Gladiator recently. I think I rewatched it actually twice in the last few years. I watched it by myself during the pandemic, and then I was like, my parents were like, we better get ready for Gladiator 2, so we watched it again. It's a great movie. I mean, it is weird that everyone has a British accent in Rome. I'm like, how'd they get away with this? But they did, and they're doing it obviously for the next movie as well. But, you know, Ridley Scott just refuses. He's like, this is the way movies are made, darn it, and he's not changing. I mean, I think the trailer looked incredible. Let's see here. Dancing Duck 60 says, sad for men of color in a big action film. Pedro and Denzel. I find it frustrating that people can't believe that there were people of color in ancient Rome when it's right next to Africa. Like, how stupid are you? I think this is actually probably more accurate to what history was actually like than classic Hollywood. And so Hollywood has done a considerable amount of damage, which is unfortunate. And I hope that that's not why people aren't seeing Gladiator 2. Let me close the poll. Hold on. Okay. I'll get back to those questions. 38% of you are seeing Wicked. 28% of you are not seeing either of them. 16% of you are just seeing Gladiator 2. And 15% of you are seeing both. Wow, that's really interesting. I mean, obviously it's skewed to, who's watching this live stream. But yeah, Gladiator's having an issue. Let's see here. Let me go back here so I get the super questions here. Devin says, I'm definitely seeing Wicked. Do you think Ariana Grande fans will boost viewership? I think Lady Gaga fans did show up for Joker 2. One of the things we've been talking about is I think they're one of the only groups that did. So her fans showed up to support her. Ariana Grande seems to have a lot of fans. I'm not even an Ariana Grande fan. I think she looks like a delight in the movie. Same with Cynthia Erivo. I think from day one, I thought their performances were impressive. But I like them the more I see them, the more and more I see them. Hi Dallin says, as a huge Wicked fan, I'm hyped. I have outfits planned, and I've already purchased the Ariana Grande makeup collection, including the Glinda set. Oh, I like it. Billy, you got to watch the original Gladiator. It's a great movie. Leo, you too. How have you guys not seen Gladiator? It's Sean's mom's favorite movie. Let's see here. Lucky, did I get yours? Remember, if it's too far back, I can't get to it. Lucky says, I really think that they would have had a better Barbenheimer thing had they not moved for Moana 2. Wickoana. No, you can't do Wicked versus Moana. That's the same thing. No, it's gotta be like to some degree men versus women. That's what makes it fun. So it's gotta be like in one theater you're like, yes, men. In the other theater you're like, yay, ladies. That's part of the formula. Which a movie studio did or did not come up with. I think that's incredible. That's one of my favorite things. Let's see here. Joey's doing the double feature, Joey. Wicked at 3 o'clock and Gladiator at 6:30. Oh, that's so great. I love it. That's right, Emmanuel. I am coming around to Wicked. I love a party. And today I was like, oh, it's a party. And so now I'm like all in. Harrison says, women about to be 2-0 in these battles. Oh, you mean in the winning category? I mean, Oppenheimer did great, but not as well as Barbie. Let's see here. That's right, Tyler. They're both ridiculously long movies. They're both 2.5 hours, which means they're both 3 hours with trailers. And I think that's very difficult to ask somebody during the holiday season when they have relatives and family commitments and shopping things that they have to do and cooking to go and see a 3-hour movie. I think that's incredibly difficult to do. Let's see. Oh, Caliban wants a Liz Taylor Gladiator. All right, for those of you who don't know the legend, Gladiator won Best Picture. It also won Best Actor, won a lot of Oscars. but it won Best Picture, and Elizabeth Taylor infamously announced it. And she said, Gladiator! And it was like, I mean, anyone who's a film fan knows if you say Gladiator like that, they go, I know what you're referring to. Oh, Jico's doing the double feature as well. Zeke, I'm going to try and go back and see if I can see your thing. Oh, I missed a bunch. Oh, my bad. Okay, hold on. Dream says Gladiator 2 does look amazing, but I get taken out of the fantasy when the dialects don't reflect ancient Rome. Me too. I'm like, they're not British. It drives me crazy. Steven says Gladiator 2 seems doomed to fail with $310 million budget. Could be on par with a big one of those like Joker 2. I can't believe Gladiator 2 cost that much money. Whoa, flopola. I think it looks good though. Bay says it depends on. Hey, Bay says it depends on reviews. If they both get good reviews, then I'll definitely go to theaters for both. Yeah, I think reviews will be crucial, particularly for Gladiator. Billy wants to know how many people have seen the first Gladiator. Oh, there's Zeke. And Sean, thank you for gifting a membership. Zeke says, as long as the Gladiator 2 movie doesn't end with any time-traveling gladiators, then we're good. That's nuts. I don't think that's going to happen. And Billy says, I have my tickets, outfit, dolls, ready for Wicked. That's fantastic. See, I'm starting to feel the party. I love a good party. And Billy says, I think most people don't remember the original Gladiator. Could have made the new movie unrelated. Now, you got to pull off the original. You got to do that. Jonathan says, any truth to the rumor that Wicked 2 is a reimagining of The Wizard of Oz? Well, apparently if you've seen the musical, you know that it is. I wouldn't so much say a reimagining of The Wizard of Oz, but from a different perspective. And that's going to be, I think, a lot of fun. Okay, I will poll you if you've seen Gladiator, and I'll answer a few other questions. Have you seen the original Gladiator? Yes, but don't remember it, and then no. And again, anyone who's watching can vote in the poll. Gary says, should Gladiator be in Latin then? I gotta tell you, I like that Mel Gibson's Apocalypto was in the correct language, and Passion of the Christ was also in the correct language of the time. And I gotta tell you, I loved it. And Passion of the Christ made a poop ton of money. Apocalypto did okay. But I mean, I wouldn't hate it if it was in Latin, to be honest with you, but I don't have to go that far. Oh, look. Kiko says, my boyfriend forced me to watch Gladiator and I hated it. Oh, no. Dallin says, I'm curious if enough people know that Wicked is a part 1 and not the entire musical. I think nobody knows that. And I think they're like, don't tell anyone. But how upset can you get with 2 hours and 40 minutes of a movie? See, Platinum Diva remembers Passion of the Christ was amazing. I was crying my eyes out watching that. And then when Christ was resurrected at the end of the movie, everybody in my theater went nuts. It was truly a religious experience. I'll never forget it. That's right, Klaus. They will end on defying gravity. Hey, Obed. Yes, I'm very happy to be welcomed to the party. Although I have to get a totally different costume. I can't wear the same thing. I can't recycle Agatha for Wicked. That's disrespectful to Wicked. Wicked needs its own stuff. I do have a shirt that might work already. Zeke says, I bought tickets to see Wicked at the AMC Empire 25. Was that a good choice? I don't love that theater, Zeke. I think 34th Street Dolby's a little better than that theater. Kips Bay is better. But, you know, a lot of people do go to that theater. Let's see here. All right, let's go to the next story, I think. Okay. So poor Christopher Nolan. He's like, how the heck am I the third story of the day? Well, it's that kind of a day, Chris. All right, so story number 3. Boom, baby. All right, here are our chapter times. Okay. Christopher Nolan. That's right. It was just announced that Christopher Nolan is already getting to work on his next film in 2026. It'll start filming early next year, and it's going to come out in 2026. Oh, I didn't close the poll. Thank you. 49% of you have seen the original Gladiator. 36% of you have not seen it, and 14% of you do not remember it. All right, so it's like 50-50, but that's not great. A lot of people apparently have not seen Gladiator. Isn't that interesting? All right, so Christopher Nolan, he's making a new movie. It was announced he's going to start production next year, early next year, for a 2026 release date. He's coming out in July, which is when Oppenheimer came out, of course, as you might recall. He's sticking with Universal. He's like, see ya, Warner Brothers, because, of course, he was so upset that they put Tenet on Max simultaneously. So he was, or something like that. He was upset about the whole thing. I think he got out of it a little bit, but whatever. So he broke up with Warner Brothers, and he went over to Universal, where, of course, he released Oppenheimer. It turned out real well for him. He still made a ton of money, and he got an Oscar. A ton of Oscars. So it worked out even better, in fact. So he's sticking with Universal. They will release this. And also, Matt Damon is said to star. That's right. Matt Damon was in Oppenheimer, where he did a fabulous job, but it was a supporting role, and he's going to step up. And I want to talk about Matt Damon box office. So Matt Damon, you know, he makes a lot. He's very much one for me, one for them. Now, of course, the Bourne Identity movies are the cornerstone of his career. You see, this is just his recent films, and you can see The Last Bourne was a little soft at 416 worldwide. But, oh yeah, he was also had a small role in Interstellar, but it's small. But yeah, so let's look at some of his big movies. All right, so let's see here. As you can see, he was also in Interstellar. The Martian is a really big one. The Martian, of course, got to 653. Ridley Scott directed that. Fabulous movie. Also, I think, did it get some Oscar? I think it got some Oscar nominations. Best Picture. That's right, he was in The Departed, but that's far longer ago. So The Martian. I think, you know, Ford v. Ferrari performed pretty well. I really like Ford v. Ferrari. I thought that was a really great film. And then, of course, he was in Oppenheimer. There's a lot of little movies in between here, but that's because, you know, he really does make a lot of smaller films, you know, very much working on other things. But when he's in a big mainstream film, he still can deliver. All right. So let's talk about, there's one little thing I want to say. I'm not going to tell you, I heard a rumor yesterday about what this movie was about. I'm not going to say it exactly because it seems so stupid, I can't believe that it's true. So I'll give you a hint, and we'll see if it's true. I'll just say that I heard it was a surprisingly genre-type film for Christopher Nolan, more so than he has done before. You know, like he's going to be in a genre space, let's say. I guess, obviously, you know, he's already done superheroes, but think about the other genres that there are, you know. Also, yeah, horror is a pretty good guess, David. I also heard, let me just give you another hint. There's a lot of people making movies like this. A lot of them are coming out in the next couple of months into next year. And so it would be weird to see Nolan also get into the space, considering some other big name directors are also playing around there. So let's see if they actually announce it. I don't want to get in trouble for saying what it was specifically. Because part of me feels like it couldn't possibly be true because it makes no sense to me. So we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. So I'm not 100% vouching for what I was told. Okay, because it just doesn't seem like it makes any sense. So I'll put a giant grain of salt on that, okay? Now let's talk about something else. This was tweeted out by Discussing Film, that 2026 is an incredible year for major directors releasing films. So let's go through them, and I'll tell you what some of these movies are that have been announced. Some of them are still mystery projects. So in 2026, Matt Reeves on October 2nd will come out with The Batman Part 2, which I'm very excited about. Jordan Peele, later that very month, has a mystery project. This one has not been clarified what it is yet. Although, of course, Jordan Peele works in the horror space and it's right before Halloween. So you have a pretty good idea of what that's going to be. Mike Flanagan, Why the Earth is the Exorcist, coming out March 13th. But it is. This is 2026. I don't know why The Exorcist is coming out in March. That seems stupid to me, but it is. Then Denis Villeneuve. This is a mystery project, but it's from Warner Brothers. So everybody feels it's probably Dune Part 3. So this would be 2026 in December, which is interesting. That's really the This is, is there no Avatar that year? Let me look into this. Give me a second. Is there no Avatar or Star Wars that year? Yeah, there's a Star Wars on that day, an untitled Star Wars. Do they feel Star Wars isn't going to take that? What about Mandalorian and Grogu? When's that coming out? That's also 2026. What's that date? What's the release date? May. Maybe they feel that they won't make that. I think 2 Star Wars movies in 1 year is stupid. So maybe that's the situation. But yeah, that would be interesting if Warner Brothers took the spot that Disney has made so much money in. Disney has released a Star Wars or an Avatar movie for the holidays, right in time for Christmas, very successfully for years. But now they have that pipeline has been slowed down significantly. And so Warner Brothers, it seems, is going to try and make the most of that. Dune could do quite well there, I think. Steven Spielberg, he has a UFO film with David Cope scripting coming out May 15th, early summer. And then, of course, there's Christopher Nolan with July 17th. So that's a pretty good setup. That's quite the year of film. I'm very impressed with that. So what does everybody think? Does anybody have any questions or comments about this story? And then we'll go to the Q&A. That's right, Sean. For a while, Warner Brothers had Christmas with Harry Potter. That's very true. That was pretty great. And that's right, Liam. This is very far away. Uncle Baby Billy, I haven't heard about Nolan doing a kaiju movie, but, let's see here. That's right, Josh. Emily Blunt is in talks for the Steven Spielberg movie. She'd be a good match with him, I think. Heinz E. Adventure says, where are the Russo brothers Avengers? Hey, Sean, thanks for gifting a membership. I forget when days those are, but those will be summer kickoff movies, right? So Avengers Doomsday is first. That's 2026, May 1st. Good question. Matt, as I said, the Spielberg movie is apparently about UFOs. That's all we know right now. I think you guys are pretty set on this. Let's go to the overall Q&A. Henrik says, Nolan for Princess Diaries 3. Totally different take on the material. I love it. Okay, 10-minute Q&A. It's 4:02. We'll go till 4:12. E.T. 2, that would be pretty amazing. Mish, you had a super chat? I told you, if you put the super chat too early, I might not see it. Let me go back and see if I can see it. It's too far back, Mish. It's gone. Billy says, I'm so glad you're finally watching Interview with the Vampire. Best show and spicy on TV. It's very spicy. Let's see here. Klaus, I'm so excited for Agatha tonight. I canceled all my plans so I could focus on reviewing it. I mean, the review might go up like at 1 or 2 in the morning because it takes a while to do a breakdown, but it will go up this evening. Let's see here. Chico, tonight I'm going to make spinach pasta. Let's see here. That's right, Vitor. They'd have to get Drew Barrymore and the other kid back from all the Mike Flanagan shows. Topher, I'm not sure who I want for Wonder Woman. I would like it to be somebody new. I mean, Gal Gadot came out of nowhere, and she was a great choice. It's too bad that went south so quickly. Jesus says, hey, Grace, how does it feel when people compliment you for... that's very sweet of you. I'm so glad you feel that way, Jesus. That's very nice of you. It makes me feel very nice. Dream says, I'm so stoked that you finally got on the interview. I'm so glad. See, people are interviewing the vampire fans. Don't ruin the ending of season 2 for me, and they have a season 3 coming, which I'm very excited about. Rio wants a poll for who watched Justice League Unlimited. Sure, we can do that. Did you watch? I think it's on Max, so you should go watch it. Yes. Yes. A little. And then no. Okay, again, anyone who's watching can vote in the poll. John says, I've started Penguin per your suggestion, finished episode 1. Wow, the writing is just so good. You're going to love it. It's a great show. Again, it should have been a binge, but it's a great, great show. Hey, Sam, thanks for joining. Optimus Prime Ribs, I like your bronze badge. You do look good. Astral, I will see Nosferatu and Smile 2. I'm not going to review piece by piece anymore. That's the plans I canceled for this evening. I will review Smile 2 and I think Nosferatu, but definitely Smile 2. Paris Ryan says, Grace, do you think even with some of the backlash that after people see Ariana Grande and Wicked that she will have clout as an actress? I think it's hard to switch from one area to another. Even when Cher was getting tons of great roles, she was still the singer who was acting. I think that if Wicked makes a lot of money, Ariana Grande will 1,000% book another movie. Something light and fun, I think. But it's going to be, I think, based on reviews and box office. And I think if that works, she'll get more work for sure. I know that Ariana Grande has an acting background, like in kids' TV, but still, it's just I think she's better known as a singer. Oh, Kay Walton points out that back in February, Nolan even said he wanted to make a horror film. Well, then maybe my source is correct, which makes it even all the more bizarre that that's what he would do. Sunny says, Grace, what's your favorite vampire film? I don't think you could get better than Interview with the Vampire in terms of like this show. It's better than any movie I've ever seen for vampires. Although I was also the new Salem's Lot on Max is about vampires, and I really liked that. It's not as good as Interview with the Vampire, but it's very fun. Dallin says, I'm so excited. You got into Interview with the Vampire. Who is your favorite character so far? And have you seen I never saw the 90s movie. I would say I really like Lestat. I liked all the cast. The main 3 are my favorites. Lestat, Louis, and Claudia. But I think Lestat really is like, the Homelander of that show. Dream, that's so generous of you. Thank you so much. If it ever gets slow, please start Banshee with Anthony Starr. Great twisty Pennsylvania crime caper with underrepresented Midwest Native American and Amish representations. The women on the show are incredible in fight scenes. Maybe I will check it out. You're making it sound pretty good. That's right, Be Sponged. I tweeted earlier about New York City live shows in 2025. It's insanity. Nobody could possibly see all those shows. They're too good. It's too expensive to go to all of them. Let's see here. Hold on. CJU, your love for Young Justice. I'm glad that you like it so much. Bjorn says, hey Grace, I'm currently directing an animated short film to be used in psychology graduate school research study in February. Do you think film festivals will be interested in a project like this? They might be. Can it stand alone? Do you have to know the context of it to get it? If it works out as its own, as like a piece of, storytelling, I think that you would actually maybe have an edge with that background. Maybe you should film like an introduction that says what the point of it is. So, that maybe gives it that kind of a spin. Hey, Crystal Mermaid in Florida. I hope you're staying safe. Mika, I do plan to review Venom 3, but I think that press screening will be very late. Thanks, Jander. Yes, if you could like and subscribe, folks, that would be appreciated. I would love it. Let's see here. I liked Young Justice for a while, but I just lost interest in it. Javier says, thank you, Grace, following since 2016 and don't have the words to explain how important this community is for me. You are a ray of sunshine. You made me feel so nice, Javier. That's so nice. That's what you wanted to use your super chat for. I love it. Thank you so much for saying that. I'm so glad you feel that way. You guys, you make me feel so nice. Let's see here. Thanks for Dancing Dog 60. Phil, I did. Hey, Phil. Phil was on the DC stream just the other day. Did you see the Venom Hot Ones? I did. I think Hot Ones is this close to jumping the shark. Because, I'm like, not everybody can be on Hot Ones. And then because it loses its specialness if just anyone can be on the show. Thanks again, Dancing Dog 60. Because, Beetlejuice was just on it. You're like, you just can't all be on it. That said, I thought it was pretty good. And I thought the animation on it was pretty funny. Like when he drank the milk, I thought that was pretty funny. Home Queerter, that's a funny name, says Extraction director doing Sega video game Shinobi. Oh, that guy? Sam Hargraves or whatever? Is that true? That's interesting. That is interesting. Thank you. Austin, you're saying they jumped the shark with Donald Duck. I was looking at their views the other day. Donald Duck got 20 million views. I was like, maybe that was pretty good. I think only Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have more views. Zeke said, Grace, should I transfer my tickets to Kips Bay or AMC 34th Street? Those are both great theaters, but if you're going to AMC 34th Street, do the Dolby there. I can't speak for their IMAX is not good at AMC 34th Street. The IMAX at AMC 34th Street is not good. The Dolby at AMC 34th Street, I saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes there. Fantastic. Great theater. And Kips Bay, only the IMAX screen is good there. None of their other screens I can vouch for. If you can get the AMC 34th Street Dolby, I think that's pretty sweet. Zetas Lapidus says, any truth to the rumored Wanda movie and spin-offs? I think that's true, but I think, again, as I said before, it's not cemented until I think it's going to be a big part of how Agatha performs. Hey, Anna. Anna was also on the stream. I was wondering if you think with Nolan and others approaching the genre, do you think horror could make a strong comeback at the Oscars and actually win? It would be very difficult to win back-to-back Oscars. It would be a couple years apart, but for his movies back-to-back, that's hard to do. He could get nominations, though. I would like horror to get more respect. It's so popular, and I think they're doing some really interesting things with it. I would love it. You're asking me at the right time. I'm watching Interview with the Vampire. I'm having such a good time. Yeah. Zeke says, okay, but is AMC Empire 25 really that bad? I know a lot of people go there. I think that if you're going opening weekend, it'll be full of fans. I think that neighborhood's a little difficult right now to some degree, but it's still also fun. I go to Times Square still sometimes. I think opening weekend you'll be okay. You really just have to decide for yourself. CJ says, yes, it's that bad. It's pretty bad. If you could switch your tickets, I would. I'd be honest with you. It is. Yeah. Dolan also agrees. Yeah, Carlo. Yeah. I'd try and switch them if you can. Matt Torres says, Grace, you happy with the state of the entertainment business? I think things are looking up. I think it's still sporadic, but I think we're still reeling from the strikes and the pandemic. I think we're getting to a good point. I think the industry's turning around. I think it's going to get there. I really do. I think these are just growing pains, and I'm very encouraged by a lot of these hits. All right, it's past the time. Let me do some shout-outs. Okay. Let me do Dancing Dog. Grace, can Sydney Sweeney be this era's Marilyn Monroe, although Marilyn struggled to be taken seriously as an actor? But she wasn't. Marilyn Monroe worked with some really great directors, which was a big deal for her, and I think that's something that helped her. Also, let me close the poll. Thank you. Marilyn Monroe was almost, in some ways, a costume. She even would say, do you want to see me be Marilyn Monroe? Because it wasn't who she actually was. I forgot Marilyn Monroe's original name. That's her stage name. I could look it up, but does anyone? Norma Jean, thank you. Her real name was Norma Jean. And Marilyn Monroe was, she was a caricature almost. And Sydney Sweeney doesn't, she's not, Marilyn Monroe was like a costume that anyone could put on. And I think that's why a lot of women liked her too. Marilyn Monroe had male and female fans because, again, she was not a person. She was an idea. And that's what was so brilliant about her character that she created. She created a character. All right, let me end the poll here. Did you watch Justice League Unlimited, the animated series? Only 44% of you watched it with enthusiasm. 43% of you did not. And 11% of you have seen a little of it. That's amazing. That's interesting. I should give James Gunn a little pause. A performing artist says, what? Never watched the original Interview with a Vampire? Blasphemy. I'm glad. I'm glad. I have to say there are a lot of surprises in the series because it's extended. The book is extended into 2 seasons, and they add a lot of context and twists and turns, which I've really appreciated. That's right, Elise. She played the dumb blonde. It was very smart. And that's interesting, Ezek, to make the drag comparison. It is like an early kind of form of drag. I would agree with that, actually, which is very smart. And yeah, she did a dumb blonde routine. Oh, Mish says the super chat was, oh yeah, Green Lantern versus Invisible Woman constructs, VFX is important to differentiate. Well, can you see the Invisible Woman's constructs? I think that's tough to do. But yes, they better spend the money to make them. I don't want a cheap Green Lantern. And that's right, Dancing Dog 60. Jane Mansfield tried to imitate Marilyn Monroe, but wasn't enough of a caricature. She was also, again, too real, and it just didn't work. There was another actress who did Born Yesterday. Was that Billie Holiday? That was closer. I think that was actually even pre-Marilyn Monroe to some degree. Okay. Usman, a lot of artists have stage names, but Marilyn Monroe... Judy Holliday. Marilyn Monroe was nothing like, Norma Jean was nothing like Marilyn Monroe. It was just so different. All right, I'm supposed to be doing shout-outs. Shout-outs, shout-outs, shout-outs. Where are you? What are you doing? Let me say hi to you. Mr. Andrews is about to go to bed in Barcelona. Thanks for the stream today. I really enjoyed it. Oh, that makes me very happy. Let's see here. Let's see here. Zeke, I don't know where you're getting your information from. Let's see here. Heather says Norma Jean was a sweet nerd. She really was. Mary is playing with her cat in Milan. Oh, that's pretty sweet. Let's see here. Mr. Magic says, appreciating your great work on a lovely day in Portland. Always so nice to see you, Mr. Magic. Doc Hayes is grilling up some burgers while George Kaltsudis is cooking in Zelda at Rito Village. That's Nintendo talk, I take it. Oh, Zeke says they got more information in the Hollywood Reporter. Oh, that'll be interesting. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Let's see here. Oh, Natalie in South Florida. Be careful, Natalie Torres. We see you. I'm glad you're south. That's, I think, one of the safer areas if you're very south. Anna says, hey, Grace, here with my cat Timo, getting ready to do some writing in Indiana. Hey, Timo. Timo appeared in the live stream on Monday as well. Rashad is enjoying the stream before going to work in sunny Las Vegas. Rashad, always so great to see you. I hope your relationship's still going well. Ohad says, I just watched Midsommar for the first time. Oh, that must have been an experience. Blue Prada, I'll be back later tonight with Agatha. Let's see here. Jico says, finished restyling my first Ariana Grande Glinda doll. Happy Wicked Wednesday. Let's see here. Talahuli says, my girlfriend and I are excited for Agatha tonight. Yeah, it should be a good one. I'm hoping. I'm excited. Well, Mexican Nacho is getting tacos in Mexico City. That sounds like a lot of fun. Art Lover is watching from San Francisco. Oh, Rashad, your love life's going great. All capitals. Oh, that makes me so happy. You deserve it. That's right, Heather. It's Agatha night. Oh, mic drop. On your way to work in Las Vegas as well. Oh, that's great. That's very nice of you, Aubrey, to say that. Let's see here. Oh, is Randall in Florida as well? I didn't see Randall. Oh, well, Randall, if you're in Florida, good luck. I don't know why I can't see it. Oh, Randall, staying dry in Miami at work. Miami's safe, so I'm glad you're in good hands. Let's see here. Kyle Selby is in Los Angeles on his way to work. Oh, on his way to the gym before work. Mike Drop says, my shift is 24/7 as a small business owner. Oh, that's great. Good for you. Mexican Nacho says, snack of choice for Agatha. Oh, I can't snack during Agatha. I'm going to be taking notes because I haven't seen the episode yet. Let's see here. And Just Blaze Disney says, everybody in Florida, please stay safe. So does Alexander Padilla. You guys are so sweet. And Jordan's can confirm it's very windy in Miami right now. Of the Tide, if you find a Grace Randolph sim, you send that picture my way. And Bay's about to get a facial. That's good. You take care of yourself, Bay. I love it. You pamper yourself. That's fun. I was thinking of going to the spa. Maybe you're inspiring me. All right, everybody, have a lovely rest of your afternoon. I love talking to you all the time. Look at Chima is about to have dinner in Nigeria after work in Nigeria. I love it. I love talking to people all across the globe. All right, everybody, I had a great time. This was a particularly fun stream. This is the end of streams for the week, but there will be an Agatha breakdown like in the early morning hours. And then at another point, I might have another video on Friday. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. But more videos the week after. This has been kind of a busy week for me. All right, everybody.